Hello, it's me Juliet, and today I'm going to talk about a custom hand-painted bag I made. Loungefly are Disney bag made after a character or a movie. Normally you buy them, but I think that would be too expensive of a collection for me, so I'm painting them myself. I have been making some Loungefly since 2024 at a very slow pace. My first one was about Bing Bong from Inside Out. The second one, which is my favorite so far, is about Tiana and her song I'm Almost There. The third one is about Wally and Evie celebrating Christmas, and the fourth one is about Captain Hook. I made this one in a day. One Sunday I decided to push myself to create and go off screen for the whole day. I painted for 9 hours and this bag appeared. The one that I'm gonna make in this video, however, I made in about 4 months. That is because this Loungefly is about the sword and the stone, and I had a very specific idea of what I wanted to make, which was to create 5 spell books, each decorated with one of my favorite parts of the movie. And as a whole, the old books would mimic my ultimate favorite scene of the movie, which is the one where Merlin is packing his suitcase using magic, and all the books gets in line and fly into his suitcase while he sings. I wanted to create the covers of the books in a style that is colorful and vintage. Yet I knew that my skills in drawing would have a hard time allowing me to achieve that. Still, I looked for scenes or drawings that represent scenes that I liked on the internet, and then I traced them on faux leather because I knew I couldn't draw that, but I still wanted intricate, cool looking designs. The 5 scenes are one of Merlin's tower because I really like the design, one of the sword in the stone in the middle of the city where they have the competition because it's so indicative of the movie. One of Merlin teaching Arthur, because I really enjoyed this whole concept of the movie where he is the teacher. One of all the transformations of Madame Mime, because I think this character is super fun. And that one scene that I love, which I already mentioned, with the books and the suitcase. The bag that I chose to decorate was this one. As always, it's a cheap bag that I thrifted. I chose this one because the brown really fits with the vibe of the movie in my opinion. It has Disney ears, there is M's everywhere, which originally is for Mickey Mouse but can also fit Merlin, and it has zipper in the shape of Mickey Mouse's head, which to me represents Disney as a whole. I'm really not sure how I will be able to fit all of those books on that bag and have the effect that I'm trying to give where they're minimizing to get into the suitcase, which would be the pocket in front right there. But I tried, I trimmed them so they could roughly fit like I wanted, and then I started painting. I started with the blues for all the Merlins of the different covers and the purples for Madame Mime and all of her transformations. It was hard to do progress on this project because the results were quite far from what I would have hoped, mainly because I don't really know how to paint. Already I had to trace the drawings, but the paintings, not saying it was gonna look awful, it's just that I had a very specific idea of what I wanted it to look like, and all of those drawings couldn't come close to that. So I spent a month and a half stuck at that stage. I would come back to it here and there for a couple hours, but what I ultimately needed to do is just let go. It wasn't gonna look extremely vintage, the lines were not gonna be clean, but at least it was representing the scene, and that was enough. So I didn't add to those paintings until I was satisfied with them. I added to them until I was so tired that I was just ready to let go, understanding that if I add more, I have more chance of making it worse than making it closer to what I want it to look like. After finishing the paintings, I faced the second challenge of this project, which was how can I make them look like old spellbooks. I thought about it for like a month, during which I did not work on the project, until one day I just jumped into it with no good idea. I just wanted to finish the project. And it's while making the first one that I had the idea of how to give them the vintage book look. It's very simple, I just added borders, fake pages and a fake spine. I think the spine helped the most. The last challenge was how was I gonna fit those books on that bag? And sadly I had to give up the idea of using this brown bag with the M's because it was just too small. The new bag that I chose has a natural whimsical vibe to it. Honestly, I don't really like it. I feel like it's a bit too disconnected from the books, and to me it looks involuntary, which I guess it is involuntary. But it's the only one that could fit the books and I really wanted this scene, so I went with it. I also lined the 3 top books with sheets of plastic so they would hold themselves and not fold, because I wanted to place them popping out of the bag to gain a bit more space. I made Merlin's suitcase, which is purple and opens in a very specific way. I decided to leave a bit of an opening at the top, so I needed 2 different pieces for it. Unfortunately, while making those 2 pieces, I did not realize that I had made it very wrong, so the perspective is super off, but I think that from afar it's not really noticeable, so I kept it like that. I wanted to finish this bag at that point. I had already accepted that it was not gonna look picture perfect with what I had imagined originally. I wanted to be done not because I was fed up, just because I wanted to create and have the feeling of being proud to have accomplished a project. Then I glued all of the books and the suitcase on the bag and I was finished. This one might just be the hardest one I've ever made. Overall, it's not my favorite, but I'm happy that at least if someone knows what I was trying to represent, they can see it. I like the bright but not too bright color, the fact that my favorite scenes are represented. I like that it's unique and handmade by me. I mean, I guess this holds the biggest value to me. I'm happy to add a 5th Loungefly to my collection and be able to tackle a new bag next time. Bye!